Hey YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is a Ruger 1022 trigger group. Specifically, this is the Ruger BX trigger, which has been fitted with a couple of aftermarket parts. This is a flat-faced trigger shoe, which I really like. And this is an oversized safety button. Other than that, this trigger group is entirely stock, which means that the bolt hold open catch has a notch to hold it in place. What that means is that if you rack the bolt, the bolt hold open catch is not released. This is, to my mind, one of the biggest construction issues on the 1022. I think it's entirely unnecessary. I don't think it adds anything in the way of safety whatsoever. And frankly, it just annoys me. So today, I'm going to modify it. In order to perform this modification, we're going to need to remove the part from the trigger group. And in order to do that, we need to drift this pin all the way out and this pin partially out. Let me show you. So when you drift this pin out, that leaves you with the pin and the ejector, as well as the spring, which you can just roll up like so. This guy you only have to run down a little, and then that one is released. Now, I have actually done this with hand tools on a previous one, and granted, I did it on a very cheap set of diamond files, but those diamond files were absolute trash afterwards. Right, so I recommend using some sort of a rotary tool, and if you've got one with a flexible extension like this one, I really recommend you use that. Now, I'm going to bring you with me down into the workshop to do this, and in order to test whether I've done it successfully or not, I will need to refit it to test it. So I'm going to bring the entire thing just so you can get an understanding of what we're looking to achieve here. This pin rides in this hole, right? So normally it sits like so, and then the spring, this spring, provides downward pressure on this bit. So when you push this up and it's caught by the bolt, then it's pivoted forward and held like so. So what we're looking to do is to remove this bit. And it does take a little bit of trial and error, fitting it, testing it to see if it works, refitting it, doing a little more work, and so on and so forth. So let's reassemble and move down to the workshop. Alright, so let me show you my setup here. I've got the part securely chucked up in a vise. I've got a burr grinder attachment on my rotary tool, which I'm going to simply hang right off the vise, like so. That gives me a nice and secure platform from which to work. And I will be wearing hearing protection and respiratory protection. This is treated steel, and well, you don't want to breathe that in. And here we go. All right. That is the first pass done. let me bring you around. Alright, so as you can see, I've now removed the tip that's stuck down. I've also removed the little tip that's stuck down here, that's stuck up here. Just, cleaning it up a little. Alright, so I think we're close. I don't think we're entirely there though. And so how do we find out? We reinstall it and test. As I said, we're almost there. If you see, let's see. As you see, it sticks up ever so slightly at the end of the travel, which means that it's catching on something. Now, I expected this because I've done this before, but this is why you want to go relatively slowly, not snail's pace by any stretch of the imagination, but you want to go slow enough that you don't do too much. And now I'm going to swap out my burr grinder bit, which is what I've been using, which works excellently for gross material removal, and I'm replacing it with this guy, which is a diamond bit. So let's hang the rotary tool back on its perch, reapply mask and headset, and keep working. Okay, so what I did was I used the shank of the burr bit to just feel if there's anything I can get hooked on. Doesn't feel like there is, and I'm gonna do the same with the actual pin as well. And again, it doesn't feel like there is. Alright, let's try this out. At this point, obviously I could remove more material. I think I'm probably fine. So I'm not going to. I'm simply going to reinstall it and test it in the gun. Now, here's the fun thing. This is, as I said, the Ruger BX trigger. And it's the BX trigger that I used to have in my IPSC mini rifle gun, which is a 1022. Right, but it's a 1022, which has now gotten a trigger upgrade, so this trigger pack is going to be used for something else. What else? Well, obviously a 1022, specifically a 1022 takedown. I'm grabbing a 1022 takedown for two reasons. First of all, because I think it's a good, I think the 1022 platform is a sound platform. I think it's reliable, durable, and a heck of a lot of fun for that matter. But also because I am a licensed hunter, and I want to have the option of bringing a backpack gun. So just slapping a small gun into my backpack when I'm somewhere where I can legally hunt. So yeah, that is what I'm going to do. But yeah, as you can see, this is a very simple fix. I mean, it takes 10-15 minutes with the rotary tool, and that is regardless of whether or not you're a gunsmith, which I'm certainly not. I'm an enthusiast. I know how to assemble and disassemble, and I understand the functionality of this particular part. But that's it. I am by no means a gunsmith. But these parts are also sold over the counter, so if you don't want to do this yourself, then you can always buy it. I know Volquartsen has them. I'm pretty sure Tandem Cross has them. And it wouldn't surprise me in the least if you can find them from a number of other branded, and for that matter unbranded, manufacturers, which, if I'm honest, is the way I think it should be. There is an entire cottage industry dedicated to aftermarket parts for the 1022, which I think is excellent. It means that you get the option of radically improving what is already a very good, a very reliable gun, to the point where it goes from being something relatively simple with okay precision potential to something highly precise. I really enjoy the fact that there are so many parts available. And by the way, if you're thinking about getting a rotary tool, stop thinking, do it. They are... Alright, so even in Norway, where stuff is expensive, this set that I've got cost me 1,000 kroners, which is somewhere on the order of $100 to $120. And that includes the tool, the extension, and a lot of little bits and bobs. It does not include neither the diamond burr or the burr grinder, but those are easy enough to come by, so that shouldn't be a problem. And there are plenty of tools to be had for this platform. Alright, so we're back at the bench, and I thought I'd just show you what was going on there. So these parts you've already seen. In addition, I'm going to pop the hammer pin like so, which drops the hammer pin and the spring. So this spring is the spring that puts tension on the let's get that out of the way. This dog leg here, let's get you closer in. There we go. So this dog leg here is what puts tension on this bit. So that sits in this crook here, like so. This nestles around the hammer, and so what I'm pretty sure is happening is that this guy hangs up on the hammer somehow. No big deal. I've tested this. Well, I tested this trigger pack in my competition gun, and it works perfectly. So this should also work perfectly once I pop it into my takedown. However, I haven't received that yet, so that's not happening until I receive it. At any rate, that's everything from me for today. Thanks for coming to the range with me. Keep safe and keep linking.